Yo, what it do, YouTube, man? We got a special type of video today. We got King Von, first rapper serial killer. As we all know, a lot of people say King Von was a menace. A lot of people say this and that about King Von, but this is supposed to be a real backstory about who King Von really is in the flesh as a person, man. So we're gonna go ahead and get to it. I'm gonna show you that sub button, that like button. It is free at the end of the day, but hey, let's go ahead and get to it. This video is 3 hours long. I'm not watching 3 hours. I'm gonna let y'all know that now.
Warning, this video contains themes of violence, death, and gang activity. This video is for educational and documentary purposes only. This video is not intending to incite or encourage illegal behavior in any way. Every effort has been made to remove any content which violates YouTube's community guidelines. If you'd like to see an uncut version of this video with everything that I can't show you on YouTube, head on over to patreon.com/traplawross. Supporters of the channel also get access. Supporters, if you don't want any. Gangster rap has been one of hip-hop's most fascinating subgenres. From the mean streets of gang-infested Los Angeles that were brought to life by early gangster rap pioneers like Ice Cube and NWA, to Tupac and Suge Knight taking over the music game with vivid tales of gang-affiliated rappers who would bully their way into the music industry.
Tupac was a gang-affiliated rapper, but he was not a gangster music-making rapper, unless he had to be.
And then you have legends like Jay-Z and 50 Cent, whose tales of life in the streets as gangsters made them millionaires hundreds of times over. For decades now, rap fans have been looking for the realest artists, whose lyrics paint the picture of a real life of crime that isn't embellished or fabricated. But when it comes to rappers who truly keep it real, the Chicago drill scene has dominated for the last decade. First popularized by Chief Keef, the Chicago drill wave was characterized by rappers that grew up in the most dangerous blocks in America, with these up-and-coming artists rapping plainly and honestly about what they experienced growing up. Shootings on the block, disrespecting dead enemies, and constantly being chased by the police. Chicago drill rappers took gangster rap to raw new heights, where the stories behind the music could be matched up with the local news reports on the latest homicides. However, what happens when the people doing the killing start making the music too? Because in the years after Chief Keef popularized the violent stories of Chicago gang life, one of those gangsters killing people in the streets picked up a microphone too, and started rapping in the first person from the perspective the actual killer. King Von had a reputation in Chicago as a fearless killer before he'd even started rapping, and it's widely believed, based on the statements he made in his own songs, that Von himself could have killed as many as
all these damn tweets he getting is self-incriminating, man.
7 people in his career as a gangbanger, with more murders even taking place after he got rich and famous, with it being rumoured that Von used his money and influence from the rap game to have old enemies in Chicago killed, and going on a journey which in my opinion takes him far beyond a street player who had to kill to survive in the mean streets of Chicago, because if King Von's tweets are anything to go by—
for real, man, I'm just trying to kill. Oh my god. Me and Troy, man, we murder for fun. Oh my god. I could tell you about people I killed, but that wouldn't make me a killer, because killers don't talk about bodies. We don't do that on the side.
He simply loved killing people, and the sheer amount of people that King Von—
King Doc, Dirty Real, P5, Lil James, is these his bodies? What that is? 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Oh man.
allegedly played a role in killing has led to intense speculation as to whether he was a full-blown serial killer, a title which King Von's enemies even said that him and his friends took personal pride in. Now, the FBI defines a serial killer as a person who kills over 3 people with time spans in between them of more than a month. Furthermore,
YB say he got 12, do that make YB a serial killer?
Serial killers tend to have an element of psychological gratification which plays a role in the motive for their murders. The FBI also state that a serial killer might seek various kinds of gratification through their killings, such as anger, thrill-seeking, financial gain, or simply for attention. I personally believe that over the course of his career, King Von demonstrated all of these characteristics and can indeed be classified as a serial killer. King Von frequently exhibited behavior in public that conformed with these rules, tweeting regularly about his desire to kill, bragging about having committed specific murders in his music, which attracted him international attention and Billboard charting songs, with his drill anthems about murdering rivals making him a rich man with millions in his bank account. The FBI
also— he really blew up and got famous and got rich off telling people how he killed people. And nobody took it serious. Nobody chose to investigate.
Point out another characteristic of serial killers, specifically that their victims may all have something in common. for example, a demographic profile, appearance, gender,
Black,
or race. And it would appear that King Von only killed young black men and women from the community he lived in. These were all people, just like him, being born into a rundown part of Chicago and growing up with a lot of disadvantages. All that really separated Von from his victims were the fact that they were from a rival territory, and he believed that nobody would miss them. King Von has officially been implicated in 4 murders, 2 where he was suspected of being involved, but the police didn't have enough evidence to charge, and 1 case where he narrowly received a not guilty verdict after a key witness disappeared and a co-defendant implicated himself. Another that he's accused of organising with 5 of his closest childhood friends, the shooting of rival rapper FBG Duck in broad daylight at a busy shopping district. Von will never face justice for.
Y'all let me know who that is in the comments, man.
Due to him losing his life only months before the feds would swoop in and arrest all 5 of his close friends. This particular murder would go down as one of the most brazen assassinations carried out in Chicago since the days of Al Capone. But in total, there's over 10 murders of which King Von has been connected to over the years, and nobody has looked into all of them in great detail until now. So today, we're going to take a closer look at the man, his past, and his career to find out once and for all if King Von really was the first serial killer in hip-hop history.
He was in jail for 2 murders?
Yeah, 1 murder and 2 attempts.
4 shooters and a hail of bullets.
All of them was scatter bomb. All of them was scatter bomb.
You just cool with him, so that's why you ain't scared.
Several shell casings in this parking lot.
King Von was bloodthirsty. He loved death. He loved killing.
I got a lot of fun. Just free, how many I think?
King Von had an insatiable obsession with murder and violence.
The shooting leaves 1 person dead, 4 others injured.
Me? Hey, I know you. You ain't know me. Are you?
King Von probably would have been considered like a serial killer.
They labeled the man a serial killer. Them
rappers.
King Von, real name Davon Bennett, was born on August the 9th, 1994 in Chicago, Illinois, growing up on West 78th and South Hermitage in an area known as Killer Ward, an area mainly affiliated with the Chicago gangs, the Gangster Disciples, and the Black Peace Stones. Von would attend Barton Elementary School in the area, but despite starting life as a fairly normal kid in Chicago, he would be subjected to the influence of gangbanging in his family home from a young age. His father was Walter E. Bennett, aka Silk, a well-known street dude from nearby Ada Park. Von was mainly raised by his mother, as his father was in and out of jail throughout his childhood. But Von's father was apparently a legend in the streets, with ties to the street gang, the Black Disciples. However, much like Von, despite the fearsome reputation he'd earned in the streets, it would ultimately be this proximity to gang life that would lead to his father's demise, as King Von's dad Silk was shot dead when Von was only 11 years old, apparently being targeted by a sniper outside of a skating rink.
Damn, who your daddy was beefing with? They pulled the longest, oh my, they sniped that man in the skating ring? That's crazy.
You with King Von's uncle.
Rest in peace, King Von. Rest in peace, Silk. That's crazy. Like, I'm with Big Bro every day. My killer's daddy with a sniper rifle. This get deep, though. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, sniper. I hit him with a sniper rifle. They at the skating ring, but you know.
You know how bad it would be dead for a nigga to go get on top of a building and snipe you? Oh my, bro.
It seemed clear that King Von's father Silk was remembered as a legend of the block. However, coping with the loss of his father at such a young age clearly had a negative effect on the mindset of a young King Von. He would tweet and rap in freestyles years later that he simply couldn't sleep after his father's death.
They killed my daddy, I couldn't even go to sleep.
And throughout his teenage years, he would post RIP tributes to his father on Twitter to commemorate his birthdays. Naturally, Von would follow in his father's footsteps, getting involved in local gang politics at a young age, with Von actually telling 16-shot and visuals in his very first interview that he got involved in the streets in 4th grade, eventually getting his hands on guns by the time he went to high school.
You was out here toting pipes in 4th grade, like when you started?
I probably had a BB gun or something. It wasn't that hectic, like, it ain't get, I just been, you know, in the streets. There's also, I just like being outside. You know, one of the little boys that like sleeping out, just being outside all day, just doing bed. The gun, all that shit kind of played to like what? High school. Yeah, like late 8th grade or some 7th, 8th grade when it really got to that point where you gotta hurt somebody or somebody trying to hurt you or you gotta protect yourself.
Von would rap on the unreleased song Wait that he jumped off the porch, getting deeply involved in gang politics in 2006.
Don't remember my first kiss, but I remember my first leak. Don't remember my first, but I remember my first hit. Oh my. Devious.
just 12 years old. Von would initially be a member of a local street crew affiliated with the Gangster Disciples called Killer Ward, being seen in numerous group pictures with that crew, and affiliates from the area would later post tweets suggesting that Von was indeed putting in work for this crew during his time gangbanging in Killer Ward, with Von himself corroborating that he was close to the members in Killer Ward where he was born, but making it clear that he's always been a member of the Black Disciples due to his family affiliation. Now, Von would live around Killer Ward up to around 2008 or 9, after which he would eventually move to the infamous Parkway Gardens housing development. This housing complex is notorious for its affiliations with the Black Disciples street gang. Parkway Gardens would later be referred to by insiders as O Block, but prior to that, it was referred to as Wick City. And here, King Von would meet many of the people who would end up having a huge influence on his life and career. People famous for their affiliation to O Block, whether through the gang wars going on there, or through the music that had been made about the gang war. People like Boss Top, Chief Keef, T-Roy, White, Duke, BJ, Big A, Trey 5, Sharoid, J Money, Platoon, and countless other people that played a big role in Von's life growing up. Von would also attend a new school in the area, the Hyde Park Academy, where he would attend with people from other rival territories with affiliations to the Gangster Disciples. People like FBG Duck, who would even claim in a Twitter exchange in 2014 to have plotted to beat King Von up on the school bus, and people like Lil Mark, who Von would even be seen.
Ops, and it ain't like that little ops stuff that y'all do in school. Like, it's ops for real.
In throwback pictures with before their feud had escalated into something deadly. Von and his friends started out their gangbanging careers with fistfights with the ops at school, schoolyard scuffles that would unfortunately escalate over the coming years, developing into full-blown gang war with firearms involved. Over time, a teenage Von would begin getting more and more involved in Chicago's street gang conflicts, apparently bringing guns to school as young as age 13. Chop Squad, who went to school with both Von and G Herbo, would claim that Von would even show off guns in class, with it apparently being Von himself.
He flashing guns in the classroom?
Who started the trend of teenage gangbangers in their school bringing guns to class.
He
started bringing guns to school. He started the whole trend in his city.
A pole to school at 13, fool. Like, that's what me and Herb was talking about. He was like, he knew it was real when Von walked up to him in school. He was like, he had flashed the pole or something. He was like, Herb knew every day from there it was up. He was like, oh, we bringing guns to school? You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, it's on now. He's like, every day from there, everybody brought guns to school.
Oh, man.
And he's like, Von was the one to start that off.
In fact, G Herbo would even later rap about this on a collaboration with Von called FaceTime, saying that Von showed him a revolver in freshman orientation, an experience which led G Herbo to begin bringing guns to school himself too. Now, King Von was apparently out of control as a youngster.
Shout out to T-Mobile, man.
According to one story, Von actually did a shooting on prom night whilst wearing his suit, after literally tweeting out that somebody better not try him in his suit. So naturally, you can imagine Von ended up spending a significant amount of time in trouble with the law as a teenager, with large patches of his most formative years spent inside jail cells. Von went to jail for the first time around August 2010 at age 16 for armed robbery, apparently robbing someone for their car at gunpoint. Something that he would actually later refer to on his song Armed and Dangerous, saying that he was
like 2 days before I turned 17. Damn. I'm like, what that mean?
arrested on August 11th, 2 days after his 17th birthday, when he was offered 21 to 45 years in a plea deal. Von would end up spending time in boot camp, an intense military-style juvenile program, ultimately rewarding him with early release. But soon after that initial charge, Von would catch another in January 2011, ultimately spending 15 months behind bars as a juvenile, being locked up between December 2010 and March 2012. And during this time of incarceration, Von's best friend T-Roy would tweet calling for his release. Eventually, in March 2012, Von would be a free man once again, but he was only free for a matter of months, from March to November 2012. But during this time, Von would undergo a transformation, going from a gun-toting stick-up kid to a full-fledged killer after witnessing the death of one of his close friends, which, as he put it, turned him into a demon.
I wonder what happened to him in jail. I know everybody go, he told you this and that. When you go into jail that young, it changed a lot. And don't nobody really know what happened behind them doors but you. But we'll never get that side of the story because he gone. But I want to hear that side of the
first
story.
Murders that King Von was allegedly involved in,
The
I just
real
want to take the
truth.
time to consider the real reasons why he would be motivated to kill in the first place. Despite covering a lot of gangsters who are hardened killers, it's important to consider the social circumstances that need to exist for a teenage boy to start committing murders. Firstly, these areas where King Von grew up in Southside Chicago, Killer Ward and O Block, are incredibly poor and dangerous areas, with the latter even being described by the local Sun-Times newspaper as the most dangerous block in Chicago. Part of the reason why so many of these gang murders in Chicago go unsolved is due to the failure of policing in these areas. Someone like King Von grew up seeing death and destruction as a completely normal thing. And if the police never come to your area to solve crimes or deliver justice, it's easy to see why you would place more trust in street justice than in the state. Furthermore, you really have to ponder whose fault is it really that somewhere like O Block ended up being so poor and dangerous. While it's easy to blame the gangsters and killers there for cultivating a lawless environment, the city and the state politicians ultimately have failed to create the economic circumstances for someone to grow up safely in these areas. Had there been better economic prospects in the hoods of Chicago, perhaps many of these young men wouldn't have been forced into a life of crime and violence. Furthermore, when it comes to the analysis of King Von's eventual transformation into what some have described as a serial killer, there's actually an argument to be made that geography may have played a part in King Von feeling like he could get away with so many murders. The 70s to the 2000s have actually been described as the golden age of serial murder, and one possible cause for this phenomenon around this period
because there's so many murders that happen, multitude of murders that happen, and people weren't even smart that was committed in them. Well, I looked at the whole Jeffrey Dahmer. Then boy ran out the place and talked to the police. Like, what? Police was just terrible in that time. They still is terrible. But they have more technology to help prove things. Back then, there was no technology for real. It was just going off them as a person. Terrible.
Been cited as urbanization and the concentration of inner city living. Some people have said that putting so many people in such close proximity ends up offering a unique level of anonymity when it comes to committing crimes in these complicated, busy and overpopulated areas. Put simply, this means that in O Block, the sheer amount of people, overlapping gang conflicts, and normalization of violence on the streets means that somebody like King Von could kill multiple people without attracting too much attention to him personally. As sad as it is to say, in the eyes of the cops, a victim is just another casualty of the gang war rather than a specific crime that could be solved. And it's these circumstances...
So it's really like an overloading case. Von can whack somebody off that morning, but if 5 other people died later on that day, like, the police have a hard time juggling that when it's back-to-back. And I know because in my city, when we have so many back-to-backs, they go unsolved, man.
The perfect conditions for a young King Von to begin killing people in his community with minimal consequences. And whilst King Von was in jail, gun violence had raged on between the black disciples from Wick City and the rival gangster disciples from St. Lawrence and Eberhard Avenues, or STL-EBT. And during this time whilst King Von was incarcerated, a 15-year-old gangster disciple from the rival hood by the name of Tuka was murdered. Real name Shondale Gregory, Tuka was shot dead at a bus stop on the 600 block of East 63rd Street on the 12th of January 2011 at around 6:48 PM. It was around that time that a masked gunman jumped out of a vehicle, shooting Tuka several times. Tuka was hated by his rivals from the Black Disciples, and over the next decade, BDs would continue to disrespect him on social media and in popular songs.
Tuka still gets smoked on to this day, and it's sad, because I know his mother feels terrible, but they been dissing Tuka for so long, that shit damn near ain't even nothing different here.
Their fallen friend, gangster disciples from St. Lawrence and Eberhard would rename their area Tukaville. It's never been fully revealed to the public who killed Tuka, but ever since, there has been intense speculation that a boy named O.D. Perry from Wick City might have had something to do with it. This is partly due to him being pictured regularly with a silver revolver, and the witness report from the Tuka murder stated that Tuka was actually shot with a long-barreled silver revolver. Regardless of whether or not O.D. was really the person who killed Tuka, that didn't really matter, because later that year, on August the 10th, 2011, in an act of retaliation, O.D. Perry was killed just outside Parkway Gardens. He would suffer multiple gunshot wounds, including one to the neck, at about 11:35
That's another thing, like,
just like...
Let's say somebody commit a murder, then they end up dying like 2 weeks later. Like, that just throws the whole investigation off. So them whole 2 weeks when they were trying to solve that murder, they just been running circles chasing themselves.
Tukaville, Wick City was also renamed in the memory of their fallen friend O.D., O Block, and it's believed that one of the shooters who killed O.D. was a female teenage shooter by the name of Jakira Barnes, or K.I. Following the murder, K.I. would begin to pose on social media with a silver revolver,
Damn, they
similar to the
just
one that
passing
OD
a
was known to
revolver?
carry. And her rumoured involvement in this murder of a beloved O-Block member would lead to KI becoming a major target herself, with matters not helped by the fact that she would regularly tweet insulting OD Perry and alluding to having killed him, along with others who would openly claim that KI made the O, meaning that she killed OD and was the one that caused Wick City to change the name of their block to O-Block. But the tragedies in O-Block
So a girl
were far
stood
from
on
over.
business
the
and
18th
really
of
made it
October
O-Block
2011,
what
another
O-Block
O-Block native
was.
by the name of Platoon, real name Edward Riley, would be shot dead inside O-Block after being approached by two people.
We're gonna stop it right here, man. This is gonna be part 1 of King Von Serial Killer. Y'all gonna have to like and comment for me to do part 2. Each part, I would probably increase by 5 minutes if y'all actually like and comment. Well, I don't know how long it'll take us to actually hit this 3-hour mark. But yeah, y'all make sure y'all like, hit the video, all that good jazz. If y'all like and comment, I'll keep dropping the videos, man. Till next time, on gang.